So we know that I went to see Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, and I am an Indiana Jones virgin.
I didn't know that.
I'm an Indy virgin. The only thing I know about it is from that ride at Disneyland, which is all derivative. And the ride at Disneyland meant nothing to me because I don't know where this rolling ball came from. I don't know about snakes.
You never saw the first one?
No, I never saw the first one.
That's the only one I saw.
So why did you see the first one? Why did you even see it?
Okay, for one thing, Harrison Ford. That's a good enough reason right there. And also, it was like a big splashy film. And at the time, movies were like, they were good. They were fun. They were entertaining.
Okay, so that was Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I believe it was 1981. So
Yeah,
the question is, why didn't I? Why have I been a virgin for so long?
Yeah, how come? Why is that?
I don't think I'm so different in this regard from many other people. I'm just not a big fan of action movies. Steven Spielberg grabs you by the throat and doesn't let you go for a rocking, rollicking roller coaster ride of thrills and chills. And I just thought, don't
Yeah,
care.
so somebody who really cares about character development is probably not going to really go for the rock'em sock'em roller coaster ride.
That's how this happens, and I decided to lose it for this last movie because I'm an aspiring intergalactic multimedia YouTube star now. So I guess you could say I was a bit of a snob back then, but now I think everyone else is kind of snobbier than I am now. But let me just get to this review. The first thing I'm going to say, and now you didn't see it, right?
I have not seen it, and I have no plans to see it.
Okay, why do you have no plans to see it?
Because I don't see very many movies, and I only see movies that where the trailer grabs me, or if there's, I don't know, some outstanding feature of it that I know for sure I want to take a look at. But most of the time, I just don't see movies. I'm much better off, much happier seeing an exhibition of paintings by an artist I love, or a genre that I love, or something like that.
Okay, so, just to cover all the bases on this thing, I watched Dial of Destiny, and then I circled back like Jen Psaki, and I watched Raiders of the Lost Ark. And then I watched a bunch of YouTube reviews of this Dial of Destiny. So I feel like I can add a little meta commentary on this movie. Well, okay, just overall. The crime of this movie is that it was even made. That's the biggest problem with that movie right there. That the movie was even made. Because apparently the whole impetus was to cash in one last time and make the only thing they could at this point with 80-year-old Harrison Ford. The only thing they could make at this point was a last-ditch nostalgia movie. Just, drag him out of wherever he is, send him on one last adventure, and then just drop him off at death's door.
I wonder if is he aware of that? I'm sure he's aware of that.
I've looked at a little bit of commentary by him, and who knows whether this was just his last, hey, I can grab 10, 20 million bucks, before they bury me to leave to, what's her name, Ally McBeal. Okay, so I watched this movie, and it's everything that kept me away from these movies to begin with. But I'm going to say at the outset, I don't know what the standards are for these action movie aficionados. I mean, I don't know how much they are prepared to overlook, because they want action. They want one great action scene after another. They want great visuals. They want different locales. And I don't know if they're satisfied with just a plot that just serves as an excuse to get people from one scene to the next.
I bet they are. I bet that if there's a plot, that's just gravy.
That was my impression before I started looking at these reviews, but it's funny because I came in prepared to just kind of ignore the plot. Okay, now we're in the Aegean. I know we need to be in the Aegean Sea. We know to go to the bottom. And then I know next we had to be in Tangier before that. And then we have to go back. I know we have to go from New York City to Tangier to the Aegean. I know we have to do this. I don't care what your excuse is. I understand. So I wasn't really paying attention to the plot. I don't care. It didn't have to be a real tight plot for me. Towards, I don't know how long I'd been there, maybe 30, 40 minutes into the movie, I really wished I had some Reese's Pieces or something. And I figured, I can time this. The next time someone jumps into a vehicle, I can run out to the lobby, get my Snickers ice cream bar, and get back here but before the sequence ends. And sure enough, I did
right
that.
As they're screeching into their destination.
Yeah.
And okay, so you missed all the adventures and all the ups and downs and the
It didn't matter. It didn't matter.
And, because the roller coaster.
That particular
is just
hill of the roller coaster.
Yeah, because that's all it is.
They were all jumping into this wedding car. Someone just happy, they had the cans on the back of the car, and everyone was piling into this car and jacking. And I thought, okay, out I go. And I got my my snack in the lobby, and I came running back.
That's hilarious. You actually went out, bought some snacks, and went back
bought
into
a snack.
the theater. Wow.
Yeah, and when I got back, they were like icing their shoulder and making some ironic chit-chat to downplay their injuries and planning their next move. I have to admit, what kept me interested was that I was, in fairness to the movie, I was looking forward to the big payoff when they found their precious object, because it was for sure going to be time travel. This dial, this artifact they're chasing in this movie is a time travel device, so I knew that at some point they were going to find all the pieces and put them together, and there would, lightning would strike, or a giant Stay Puft Marshmallow Man would destroy New York, or something would happen.
And then they would see Sherman and Peabody.
Yes, so good on you, movie. I was looking forward to that. I did stay for that. And,
well, now, if they have this time travel device, why can't they travel back in time and kill Hitler? That's always the question.
Okay, here comes another spoiler. It's 1969, and there's a leftover Nazi. Funny thing is, and I have to admit this is witty, the one who wants to go back in time and kill Hitler is the Nazi, because he thinks that Hitler did a lousy job. He failed on the Third Reich. He didn't do it right. He wants to go back in time and kill Hitler and build this.
Well, that's kind of fun that they actually addressed that time-worn and the age-old question.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny.
It is funny, and the nice twist on it is it's the Nazi who wants to do it because he thinks Hitler didn't do the job. Another thing I liked, and here comes the blasphemy. Here comes the part where I don't get it. I mean, like the people who. The indie fans who were hating on this movie were hating on this part, and that were his two accomplices, including this girl who is being absolutely skinned alive by fans. This Phoebe Waller-Bridge is the actress. She's kind of tall and gangly, and she's square-jawed. She's not Little Miss Hourglass Figure, and she plays a woman who's trying to stay one step ahead of everyone all the time because she's a con artist. She's a career criminal. So she's always trying to stay ahead of everyone. She's always trying to keep her cool.
So why is she getting flayed alive?
She's getting flayed alive because they say her character's really smug, and she's always smarter than him. And she doesn't have an hourglass figure, and she's not sweet, and she's trying to stay, but like I say, she's always trying to stay one step ahead of everyone because that's her game in life. But I have to object to what they say about her because she does struggle from time to time. She's not entirely effortless, above it all. She's not this laser brain who continually makes a fool out of all the men around her. Like, she screws up. She lusts after men and she can't have them. She likes to drink.
Does she end up getting in the sack with Harrison Ford?
No, their relationship is sexless. There's no sexual tension there at all because she is his goddaughter.
Oh, okay. Does he get in the sack with anybody?
I'll tell you about the end.
Okay.
But she does rely on her, and she relies on her sidekick. She's not a totally independent woman. I can even think of a time where she gets her hands on this clue and she misinterprets it, and Indy has to step in and say, wait, burn that thing, and then I'll read it. And so she doesn't have all the answers. I mean, she does need him. She does have to engage in some teamwork. And she is some kind of archaeologist, and she can read maps in ancient languages. So why is it so bad that she can do that? I mean, she's done this studying. Yeah, and I even like this young brown male sidekick of hers, and that is also some sort of blasphemy. I couldn't believe it. These, righty-ish, right-wingy-ish critics are saying, "Oh, what a racialist insult!" And I'm going, "What? Just leave it alone." I mean, this young brown male sidekick of hers. Like, what a racist thing to do. I don't know. So the character's name is Teddy Kumar, and he reminded me of Peter Lorre in The Maltese Falcon.
Oh, well, that was a great character.
he's much reduced from that. He's not that sophisticated, smoking a cigarette, wearing a tux or anything like that.
Yeah, Peter Lorre definitely had a shabby side to his character that was kind of lovable.
This Teddy Kumar, might have been Joel Cairo before Casper Gutman rescued him from the back alley. I don't know. But anyway, they're not a bunch of glamour pusses in this movie, not by a long shot.
I wonder why.
I have the impression that they want to turn this Phoebe Waller-Bridge into the new Indy, and they can't make her an hourglass woman.
Yeah. Well, she can't be a sex kitten and an adventurer.
Yeah. So, but the very end, like I say, did make me sympathize with these critics who say that the character of Indy has been reduced and diminished. Because, and I'm going to give you some spoilers here, because in this final scene in which he's supposed to be winning, I mean, you want him to win, but in this big send-off, they could have at least dressed him up and had him standing up straight and speaking loud and clear and having this positive, strong facial expression. And instead, he pulls himself off of bed, and he's got bad head, his silver hair is swirled all over the back of his head, and his sweatpants are practically falling down. And then there's this brief scene of old people sex, and there's the sex in the movie, which I hate. I'm sorry, I don't like old people sex. Just kill me. But anyway, I'm watching this exchange between him and this actress, and I thought, what the heck is this? What even is? I didn't get this conversation, but I got the reference when I watched Raiders of the Lost Ark. Oh, I see what this is. That's the only way I knew what this conversation was, and it was still gross to me. Everyone else was saying, oh, it's such a touching recall. And what it is it's a line-by-line repeat of a conversation they had in Raiders of the Lost Ark, except he's got her lines and she's got his lines.
Well, that's kind of cute. I mean, that's kind of cute. That could work.
Oh, yeah, it could work if it wasn't old people sex, and it could work if it wasn't a reunion between them because she decided to come back to him after all and not divorce him after she was so emotionally crushed by the death of their son in Vietnam.
Oh, please.
Yeah, so it's not a moment to be cute and...
What year is this movie set in?
1969. So this was manipulative and sappy and stupid. It's all wrong anyway. But listen, I want to quickly talk about Karen Allen. She's the actress who comes back in. She's the one who was in Raiders of the Lost Ark. The scene from Raiders of the Lost Ark was so fun and tickly and teasy and sexy and a little bit goofy. And that's why I'm saying it just doesn't work with old people sex, and it definitely did not work in this context. Where she's decided not to divorce him after all and to pull herself together despite the fact that their son has been killed in Vietnam. So no, the echo of that funny, sexy scene was the wrong place for it. And I didn't feel like the movie or the story was rounded out, that he gets on his feet at the end of the movie and stands tall. So it was just unsatisfying and miserable to see this, well, we can't be what we were, but we can die together kind of resolution. But speaking of Karen Allen, okay, I want to talk about her because she was the big revelation for me in that Raiders of the Lost Ark. The writing and her acting of that character were one of these incredible electric combinations to me. I had no idea about that thing in Raiders. Like, even when she wasn't saying funny lines, she made me laugh or smile.
Yeah, she was great. I don't even know what happened to her because she came on the scene and then, I don't know, as far as I know, she had a great big kaboom and then kind of fizzled.
Well, maybe it's because she aged naturally.
Good for her. I mean, she
maybe that's what happened.
Full of silicone.
Well, she's not one of those 80s or 90s actresses who stayed really young and fit, almost beyond, like Nicole Kidman or Terry Hatcher or Julia Roberts. She just thickened and crinkled and grayed, and honestly, she looks like a cat lady in this movie.
Yeah, Hollywood doesn't like that kind of stuff.
Well, I don't like it either for sex scenes. But I was going to say, maybe there's a curse on actresses who work with Harrison Ford, because that also happened with Carrie Fisher. But here's another movie that Karen Allen was in recently. Okay, now tell me if you would like to see this movie. Cora and Barry are a retired couple enjoying life in their 70s. One day, Barry has a severe coughing fit and is rushed to the hospital where he is diagnosed with a terminal heart disease. No longer able to hide his illness or the unpleasant side effects, Barry makes the decision to rent a trailer home in the middle of the woods where he can die alone. His hope for a dignified death proves to be a dispiriting struggle for Cora, especially when Joey, a 17-year-old neighbor who acts as a surrogate son to the childless couple, enters the picture. As the days wind down to Barry's departure, Cora is driven to make a critical decision for them both. Do you want to see that movie?
It depends.
Oh my God, the answer is no. The answer is no. I don't...
The answer is maybe. The answer is probably no, but if it was handled correctly, it could be great.
Look, how would you like it if Indiana Jones was the guy who was going to die in a trailer?
It all depends. It all depends on the story, as usual.
Okay. All right. Well, I wouldn't want to...
Just
all right. Okay. All right. I wouldn't want to see that movie. But anyway, on to these fans who say, like, this. It's funny. I was watching these YouTube reviews and saying, oh, this movie is so boring and empty. It's just one dumb action scene after another. Well, that's how I felt about the first one. I didn't care about the plot. I was just enjoying Karen Allen. I was hanging in for her. Well, yeah, you know, they had a couple of things going on all the time. Like, she's been captured by the Nazi and she's in his tent and he's over here trying to escape something, and someone over there is German, is getting close to the Ark and whatever. So there was things going on all the time to think about, but I didn't really care about a tight plot. There have been some action movies I really liked where I was paying attention to the plot, and that was, let's see, there's Die Hard, I think 2 Die Hards, and the first Pirates of the Caribbean, and I guess Aliens, especially the second one, Aliens, and Minority Report with Tom Cruise. And all those movies, I want to say, also had at least one line of memorable dialogue. I remember a line of dialogue from all those movies.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
But I can't remember any dialogue from either of these indies. Not the first one even. Not even the first one. But another thing about the hatred for this female character is that there are female action leads whom these same people absolutely worship, like Ellen Ripley, and that character, you know, the Linda Hamilton character in the Terminator movies. Ellen Ripley is in she's in the Alien movies, and then
She's in Aliens, yeah.
yeah. Oh, and Holly McClane in Die Hard. She's John McClane's wife, and she has left him. She's left him to go pursue her own career in Los Angeles, and she's Little Miss Boss Girl. She bosses around the bad guy. She's the big chief boss in the office.
What idiot put you in charge?
You did.
My God, Sigourney Weaver in those movies wears no makeup. She's really tall and broad-shouldered. She's a little bit heavy-jawed. In the second movie, her hair is shorter than it was in the first. And all she does in those movies is boss people around and punch them and get out, I'm gonna get you. She grabs control. She grabs the controls and says, I'll drive this thing. And she even smokes like a man. She even holds her cigarettes like a man.
So why do they like Ripley, but they don't like this other gal?
And why do they love Linda Hamilton, but they don't love this gal?
Well, Linda Hamilton she's good looking.
But anyway, isn't she this badass, muscle-bound, you know, not hourglass figure? Especially in this one where she's kind of aged out. I mean, she looks sun-dried. She looks baked in the one that I saw.
That's the second one.
The second one. Okay, so why are they hating all over Phoebe Waller-Bridge when they love these other kick-ass heroines and no one ever gets by them?
What are they saying about her? What are they saying again about her?
They're saying that she's smug, and oh, of course, she always has to be the smart one. She always has to be the one who wins the day. But she's not. She is not. There are things that she wants that she can't have, and there are times when she doesn't have all the answers. And Indy does. And there are times when she needs an accomplice to help her get out of a tight spot. And in the end, she's humbled. She's on Indy's side. Throughout the movie, she's kind of working against him because she wants to get this artifact and sell it, and he wants to get it and do some historical thing with it, whatever. He wants to keep it away from the Nazis. That's what he wants. Oh, one more thing. I remember people were complaining about the CG, the de-aging and the CG, and they're saying, oh, you need just green screens, and it's just really sloppy CG. And one thing that was funny about watching this 1981 Raiders of the Lost Ark, to see it for the first time ever in my life from the perspective of a 2023 sophisticated moviegoer, I saw so many 80s things in that movie. In every action scene, I just thought, okay, here's the director's chair, just 3 feet out of frame. Here's the crane, and here's the director saying, okay, let's get this in one take. I swear I could see all the sandbags and lights and the scaffolding. There's this one scene where the two, well, actually it's two stunt, by the way, just I'm going to say, I wonder whether the stunt doubles actually had more screen time than the actual stars. But anyway, there's one scene where Indy and Karen Allen, I can't remember her name, are running away from some place, and there's a building exploding in the background, and it's a long shot, it's a wide long shot, whatever you call that. And I was just thinking, I could actually see the stunt coordinators planning this and building this, making this building out of brown sugar or something, and then timing the charge for this mother of all cherry bombs, and then, okay, Bill and Joy, run that way, and then they just hold hands and run while the building explodes. I could see the whole thing.
Well, that's because it was all pre-digital then.
I know.
Everything was in camera, and they were practical effects.
Well, I know.
So that's when that was the age of practicals.
Yes. But even some of the shots, I mean, some of the camera angles, like when you would see a rotted skull, the way the camera would just go, okay, it just stood on this rotted skull for 3 minutes while the rotted skull jiggled. Okay, cut, print, and then added that thing in. But so I wouldn't complain about the lousy CG and the de-aging computer effects, because the 1980s, magic was just as it was just as transparent. It was just as there's the man behind the curtain, right there. The movie magic was just as obvious in that one as it was in this one. I can't fault one without faulting the other. So all these people complaining about these things, it's funny because, like I say, I was making allowances for the thin plot and the not very smart dialogue and the improbable characters. I was making allowances for all that because I figured that's what you do for this genre, but they were, these other critics are jumping all over it, and like I say, they're hating all over Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and I am not a person who goes for, the strong female character. Just like that, what's her name? That Emma Blunt, I think her name is, like, she says she's just cringing at strong female characters, although she's played a few. And I similarly cringe, but I didn't think Phoebe Waller-Bridge was that. In fact, she's not an action heroine at all. She lands a couple of haymakers, but that was another thing. This was a movie in which, none of the bad guys can shoot straight, and this stupid little 3-wheel tuk-tuk can hold its own in a car chase against a Jaguar or a Mercedes-Benz. Even after it's banged into a stone wall a couple of times, just back it up, put it in gear, and keep it going. So I don't know what the big complaints are, because I think the same thing happens, and I just have the impression the same thing happens in all action movies. I remember in Die Hard, those super advanced terrorists with machine guns could not shoot Bruce Willis when he was running across a room the size of a football field. So we're always, we always rely on these kinds of action movie tropes, and I just didn't see why we couldn't rely on them in this movie. So I would say, if you're an indie fan, I would go see it. It's a see once but not twice.
Well, again, I would say that your review has prompted me to see it for free when I can see it streaming sometime. I don't think I'll run out and see it in the film, in the theater.
Okay, are you an indie fan?
No.
Okay, then I wouldn't even...
I'm not a fan. I'm really not. I saw the second one. I think I saw 2, and that was all I needed to see.
Yeah, see, I would recommend an indie fan to see it, but anyone else, there's no need. I just went to see it to lose my virginity, and I came out as a thought.